Life could be a dream. Life could be a dream. Do, shaboom. Life could be a dream. If I could take you up in paradise up above. If you would tell me I'm the only one that you love.
Yes, hello, welcome back to episode, is it 20?
20.
Episode 20 of With All Due Respect, the sports show by JDS that will soon be the greatest in the country. Finals time in the NRL. Daniel, where's your hat?
Don't stop.
Where's your hat, Daniel? I've got the Melbourne Storm hat on. Really excited for our finals run. As always, brought to you by the Village Sport Balmain. Straight into the headlines, Daniel. Do you want to kick us off here? I'm very excited about this first headline. If you're going to go with it,
The first headline is that South Sydney are done. South Sydney are finished. South Sydney are done. South Sydney are doors closed.
eliminated.
South were, obviously, everyone knows they were first in round 11.
Yeah, week 11.
That you
first.
finished the season out of the finals.
Yeah, 9th.
How does that happen? Speaking about the game on Friday, they were literal trash. I don't know what they had. It was like they never played with each other. A moment that stood out for me was when Cody Walker tries to give a short ball to Michael Cheekham, and Cheekham just watches it go past him. Doesn't even try to catch it. That really, for me, summed up all this news and whatnot that's coming out of South Sydney, that there's egos, there's no chemistry, they don't like each other. That if you can't know that you're supposed to catch that pass, there's definitely some issues going on.
That was like back in Cheekham's Tigers days. That's what Cheekham would do back in his Tigers day, Daniel.
Was very good
It's hands on hips type of stuff. The people of South Sydney, the members and fans can now relax. They can now breathe. The dying dog has been put down. South Sydney, like you said, it's slowly come out the past couple of weeks why this collapse has occurred. You know, the rumours coming out, unfair treatment, fairer treatment towards certain players. I want to ask you a question. Do you think that Jack Whiten fixes this problem next year?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily anyone. I don't think anyone that's coming in can fix it. I think it's the people that are there need to fix it because they're the ones involved. They're the ones that the problem's occurring with. And I've got written down that we could perhaps be seeing a major off-season implosion at South Sydney.
Elaborate?
Mate, I'm talking contracts terminated. I'm talking player movement.
No.
I'm talking potential new coach movement.
No.
I can see it.
No. They've literally re-signed Demetrio.
Yes, but you think they're going to go into this off-season and all the players are going to forget their past issues and not start blaming each other for their failure of a season?
I think
they're going to start pointing fingers.
They will point fingers for sure, but the fact of the matter is that if I'm a South Sydney player, I know I'm going to have one of the best rosters next year, and I don't want to fuck that up. I'm not going to want to change that up. Jack Whiten coming in, I've heard South fans say to me that they want Jack Whiten in the halves. They want Elias dropped, and they want him dropped immediately. They want Jack Whiten in the halves, Latrell at fullback, obviously. The thing for me is that Cam Murray and Hame Sele were the best players on Friday night against the Roosters. Cam Murray obviously just re-signed. Hame Sele is going. Now, they're going to lose. They're losing some of those key role players there. But just based on your coach comment, I think Coach Jason Demetrio will be the coach under the most pressure going into next year.
Sure.
But I don't think they're going to terminate contracts. I mean, that's just audacious.
I think there's going to be a lot going on. A lot going. If they're trying to settle this issue during the off season, and one of these big name players doesn't want to make a compromise and put the team first, I think they're going to say see you later.
Moving on, Daniel. Obviously, that means the Roosters are into the 8. Roosters redemption. The winner of the whole South Sydney collapse is the Sydney Roosters. Being 14th, I think, only just a couple months ago, they are now in the top 8. They will verse Cronulla, who, in Cronulla, are very beatable. They're a very good matchup for this Roosters side.
I think the Roosters should be the favourites going to this game.
Not the favourites, but
I think they are, because I think the Roosters are on a run of form. Cronulla have been a bit shaky. Their best win of the season was against South Sydney in Perth. They've won this week, but I don't know how they're going to go up against the Roosters. They rarely beat the Roosters, actually.
This season, the Roosters...
That was one of the first in a while.
Yeah.
And look, I think the Roosters just have that experience. But then again, you could say Cronulla probably want to go better than last year when they were out in straight sets.
The elimination final, Daniel, it's going to be a cracking game because the desperate teams are dangerous teams. And I think the Roosters will be more desperate considering that they were heavy premiership favourites at the start. Yes. They want to live up to that hype. Otherwise, like the fact is that without a grand final appearance this year, I'd still say that the Roosters season is a failure, even though they've come back from 14th and now in the finals. Because people will talk of premierships.
Yes.
So it's going to be a failure.
The bar was set very high.
Very high, and they haven't lived up to the bar. I think that no matter who won against South Roosters, none of them would go far into the finals. I was telling you that maybe South, if they were convincing against the Roosters with the Troll coming back, who knows what could happen. What's your next headline?
My next headline is that the Tigers are officially confirmed wooden spooners.
Oh, back-to-back spoons.
2 years in a row.
How could I forget? Why aren't you wearing the hat then? You've won. You've won.
It's a terrible, terrible season, even though it was riddled with injuries. But still, we're the first team to move down the ladder after a spoon.
Yep.
Which is extremely concerning.
History. You've made history.
I've got an interesting point. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
You and the boys have made history.
Do you think that the West Tigers this year would have won a game without Api Korosia?
No.
I don't think we would have won a game.
No.
I think we went 0-24, whatever it is.
You've finished 17th and you've become a better team. That's the thing. Without Api, look, maybe one, maybe two, but how many did you end up winning? 4 games all year?
4 games.
And he had played a pivotal role in all of them. One of them was against his former team in the Penrith Panthers. Would you have won that game without him? I don't think so.
Well, maybe because that game was Luke Brooks' career game.
But who was passing Brooks the ball, Daniel?
Still. It's just scary to see what the future's like because next year I think we're going to be just a shit.
You can't be, though.
But it's like next year, there's big question marks on our halves. Like, I don't really know what's going on there. Is Sullivan going to play?
Yep.
Aiden Caesar's been signed for 1 year. Is Sullivan going to play or is Latu Fainu going to play? I don't really want to chop and change like we've done this year because it doesn't work. I think this week was our 7th halves combination on the season.
Yeah.
Or no, actually, I think it was, number 7. And, like, when we're in shit when Will Smith, who's a hooker, in round 26 is playing halfback for us.
I think Benji will be good for you because I think he will solidify his halves early.
He's not
going to muck around. He's not going to muck around. He will solidify that early, get them running, and even if they're shit to start, which they probably will be, with all due respect, they're going to be shit to start off. Just keep them going, keep them involved in the system, keep them running, and who knows what can happen. You might just finish 15th.
Jeez, really?
Anything else to add?
No, that's all.
Well, let's straight go into That's Not Ridiculous, Daniel. This week, do you want to start us off with your hot take out of the steamer?
I do, and I think mine's very hot. I think it's going to ruffle some feathers, actually.
Okay.
It's actually already, we're looking well into the future. It's regarding 2024. And looking at the finals bracket at past seasons, my take is that the New Zealand Warriors won't make the finals in 2024.
Okay. Elaborate.
Now, I want to take a look at last year. The New Zealand Warriors are a carbon copy of last year's North Queensland Cowboys.
Interesting.
Low expectations that were smashed throughout the season. And then the next year, they get found out by other teams. They get found out. Even lately, the Warriors' form has dropped due to teams, knowing more how to play against them. And it's almost identical to the Cowboys situation in terms of the new head coach.
Yes.
The unproven head coach that comes in and just smashes it out of the park. These players you never heard of, or these players that you consider to be, washed.
Fringe players.
Coming out and having career seasons like Sean Johnson, even Charles Nickel-Clockstad, who wasn't even getting games for Canberra, has played very well for New Zealand. I just see it to be identical.
It's an interesting thought, but the thing about the Warriors is that they're adding Roger Tuivasa-Sheck to their squad next year.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thought.
Yeah, but Roger Tuivasa-Sheck was on their squad for quite a while.
With no
Quite
help.
But that's what I'm saying. That help.
With coaches coming in and out.
That hope this year isn't going to be as good. Like for example, last year Tom Dearden and Chad Townsend
Yeah.
for the Cowboys. They haven't had that same form this year.
Chad more specifically,
Yes,
but
Chad-
yes.
that's what I'm saying. It's going to be. I think I can see that happening again with the Warriors next year, and it's also a bit of like these players. I don't see them continuing this form. So, with all due respect, Sean Johnson, he'll play well next year. He's not going to win another Dally M.
Well, Dally M
know
is
what I mean?
is the peak
I
of
know,
the peak.
but I'm saying if he's got to play that well for the Warriors to be where they are, it's concerning. And also looking at teams that didn't make the 8 this year, Parramatta, South Sydney, they're going to be back again next year competing for a spot in the 8.
I don't think Para will, but South, yes.
Well, they did compete all year.
But the Warriors are very high than those bottom teams. Like if we're looking at the Warriors as a top 4 team for next year, I don't think maybe top 4, but I think maybe finals perhaps.
I think they might
with
slip
this
out.
with this theory. So the Brisbane Broncos falling off, not making finals last year, top 2 this year. Are you going to see the same pattern with South Sydney? Is that what are you going to continue the pattern with South Sydney?
That's not what I'm saying.
South Sydney not making the finals.
I haven't mentioned the only thing I mentioned South Sydney is that I think they'll make the 8 next year. I'm talking about the Warriors here.
I know, but it's a
And I
question
think the
towards
Warriors
you.
Won't make the
It's a
finals.
question towards you.
No, I don't think.
Do you think
Sydney-
South will
I
finish
don't-
top 2 next year?
I don't know. I haven't even thought about it.
It's just a simple answer. It's a yes or no answer.
South aren't rent free in my head like
Okay.
yourself.
Speaking about premierships, Daniel, I think the Storm can win the comp.
Okay.
I think the Melbourne Storm can win the comp. Stop thinking about Newcastle, Canberra, Cronulla, Roosters. The Melbourne Storm are the biggest dark horse in the 2023 final series.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a Melbourne Storm fan. But our first week against Brisbane, week 1 of the finals at Suncorp, the record speaks for itself.
I think they win that.
Last 13 games, home and away. That's the thing. Home and away. Doesn't matter if we're at Amy. Doesn't matter if we're at Sunny Suncorp. We are winning the game. We have won it the last 13 times. I think the number's correct. It's close to it. The boys love playing at Suncorp. Brisbane are young.
Well, they're young and old.
Youthful and young. Reynolds obviously has steered the ship perfectly. I'm not saying the Storm are guaranteed going to win this match, but they're going to put up a fight.
Somewhat you are considering you're saying they're going to win the comp.
My second point is the Storm side of the finals bracket. I love this bracket. Because that means if we actually beat Brisbane, we obviously have a home preliminary final against either the Warriors, the Knights, or the Raiders.
Or Penrith.
Assuming Penrith beat the Warriors, which I think they will convincingly. But I'm going in very confident with a home prelim, healthy Melbourne Storm against a Warriors, Knights, or a Raiders side. Yes, the Warriors and Raiders have troubled us in the past. Specifically the Raiders, they are our bogey side. But come the big moment, come the opportunity to perhaps win a premiership next week, the week after preliminary final, I think the Melbourne Storm are a dark horse that people are looking over quite a lot. Thoughts?
Well, I just want to go back to what you just said, how, yes, the Warriors and Raiders have scared you in the past. I don't know why you left the Knights out there, considering the Knights did beat Melbourne in about 3-4 weeks ago.
It's a different beast in Melbourne than that was in Newcastle.
It doesn't look. They've won. You know, if they get to that prelim, that means they've won 11 games in a row.
Which they'll be due for a loss.
11.
We've talked about this before. Due.
Yes, but
they are due.
But they were due for a loss after 7 wins. They were due for a loss after 8 wins, after 6, after 5.
No, not after 5.
Say that every week. Continuing on, Melbourne, I think will beat Brisbane this week.
It's going to be
I
close.
think they'll beat Brisbane, but I don't think they can beat Penrith. I don't think Melbourne can. If Melbourne do not play Penrith, I'm on your side.
We'll have to play Penrith eventually. If Penrith somehow they lose every single game and get knocked out early, we won't verse them.
No, but I'm saying if you win this week,
Yes.
the only way you're going to play Penrith is in the grand final.
Grand final, yes.
Which I don't think you can do. If I'm being honest,
Well,
I don't think you can do.
Grand final day, Daniel. We did it in 2020 with the heavy underdogs. We did it. We've done it before. We'll do it
2020,
again.
young Penrith side, no experience. They've won 2 comps in a row. They're going to know how to win a third.
One
They're gonna know how to win a
one
third.
abbreviation, 4 letters. PTSD.
Oh, God. Okay, that's so ridiculous. Now we're going to move into the JDS3 where Joel's going to take us through the top 3 finals upsets in the NRL era.
Correct, Daniel. Let's get straight into it. Number 3. The Manly Sea Eagles defeating the Melbourne Storm 40 points to nil, that is, in the 2008 Grand Final. As the young Cameron Smith was suspended for the Grand Final, the rivalry fueled even greater. Nobody thought the score would be this bad. This was bad. Even researching about this, it bring back flashbacks. After being only 8-0 at halftime to the Sea Eagles, the Storm would basically gift Manly the premiership, allowing them to pile on 32 unanswered points to take home the trophy. Number 2, the 9th place Bulldogs, yes, the 9th place Bulldogs back in 1998 had miraculously made it to the preliminary final where they would verse an Eels side who had finished 4th. The Eels led 18 points to 2 with 11 minutes remaining, where Parramatta Eels fans were literally booking tickets to the next week's grand final. Somehow the Dogs came back to win 32 points to 20 in extra time. Not too sure how that worked, but that's what the information states, and that's what I'm preaching towards you. Number 1, again, the 2008 Warriors. Now, during this time, the McIntyre system was in place where first place would actually verse 8th place in the first week of the finals. This time, the first place, the minor premiers, were the Melbourne Storm. The Warriors beat them 18 points to 15 in 2008, which is absolutely crazy, absolutely berserk. Like you said, Daniel, the Warriors are now a Melbourne Storm bogey side. After this research, it's clear to say.
Wow, number 1, your beloved Melbourne Storm 4 to 8. And you just going back to what we were talking about, you're saying you don't have to worry about the Warriors.
It doesn't add up well, does it?
It actually doesn't look good for you at all.
Okay. It is what it is. Daniel, like I said, Daniel, if you're living in the past, you won't be ready for the future. That wraps episode 20 of the With All Due Respect Sporting Show. Finals is here. Get excited. Are you genuinely excited, Daniel, or are you a little bit upset?
No, I am excited. I'm excited to see how these teams like New Zealand and Newcastle go.
Yeah.
Because I think if anyone can cause a shock to the system, it's them.
Like you were saying previously to me before, it is a good final series to be a neutral fan. Obviously, a lot of underdogs in it. Warriors, Knights, Cronulla, Roosters. What a story that'll be. Anyway, enjoy the finals football, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next week. Let's trot.